Hi everyone, another instalment in the master bedroom ensuite build, and made a little bit of progress in the last week and a half, but been a little bit difficult. As you know, had the thumb operated on, and Thursday just gone, which was whatever 10 days later. Went in and had the first post-op checkup, and everything looks good at the moment despite the pain. Bit more invasive, this one, to try and rectify the issue, but you know, got to give it a couple of weeks and see how we go. But anyway, I've been trying to do what I can do with one hand, and I've done alright. I think I've done alright. So anyway, I ended up grouting this section of the floor. I know it's going to be very dark in the footage, but as you know, I don't have a light in here yet, and these older GoPros, GoPro Hero, are not great in the dark. So, but that's come up beautiful. I'm really happy with that compared to the other bathroom. It's just, I don't know, it just looks like a completely different floor compared to the other bathroom. I think because where all the corners intersect, it's completely flat. There isn't one high and one low, and not that I intentionally did it that way in the other bathroom, it's just that it happens. But these clamps have been fantastic. They've done such a great job in helping me keep everything completely flat, and yeah, I swear by them. If you go do a tiling job, go pick some up. The other thing that I grouted, now I'm going to lift this light up, guys, so that there's a bit more light in here. So the recess there for the shower, I think that come up really good. Very happy with it. Haven't grouted any of the walls yet. I think that was just, you know, although it was off for 10 days, you know, there's a few days there where I was feeling a bit crook from the anaesthetic and stuff like that. I just didn't want to be undertaking a big job like this, so I just stuck with the small jobs and got that done, and that's come up really good. I'm happy with it, very happy with it. Grouted the few tiles that I laid there on the floor. I didn't grout the cuts on the ends because I've got a feeling I'm going to remove both of those. The left hand side closest, the front left hand corner closest to the camera, I think has to be lifted up slightly, and it'll be the same on this side. The right hand front corner has to be lifted up slightly. Don't ask me why. I just laid them level. I laid it all level, and I shouldn't have done that. I needed to allow for the fall towards the drain, and I didn't do it. So yeah, so I didn't grout them. They'll be easy to get out because they're not locked in by any other tile, and yeah, so I'm happy with that. All right, let's put this big old heavy light down. Haven't done anything else in here, just set the toilet back in. It's nothing screwed in as yet, because I couldn't use my hand to drill anything, so that's just sitting there. It looks neat. Looks clean. So yeah, what else have I done? Okay, another job that I did was I did some more plaster repair work. This spot's always been troublesome, and I always knew it was going to be from the very start. But just above the door here, the vertical join, it just, to me, it wasn't right. I couldn't see it, but I knew it was there. So what I've done is, to the left of the join, over the course of a couple of days, I just kept putting plaster in there, and I stretched it out even further, so it's basically to the halfway point of the door now. So I feathered it in from the door right across to where the joint is, and then I've pretty much done the same on this side. Haven't come out quite as far, didn't quite need it, but I'm very happy now with that repair. I played around with the cornice a little bit. The bottom edge I'm very, very happy with now. It's the top edge I'm not happy with. So I'm sort of playing around with that. I had another repair here where the square went in. Well, not the square, but the filler panel for this section of roof, where it first started there up against the cornice. I wasn't quite happy with that, so I pretty much did what I did here on the wall. I just stretched it out a little further and feathered it in over a longer distance, and that was much better. And I found a really bad imperfection here. Now, I don't know how I missed it, because I went over this with a fine-tooth comb, but you know, the roof's had a couple of months now to settle. Everything's shrunk and dried properly and settled, and yeah, I just found this very, very slight step in the plaster, and I just thought, well, what's that going to look like when I put sealing white on it? So again, I added some more plaster to it, and just using the sanding block, I feathered it in, and that's pretty much what I did. With the exception of the wall, with the roof repairs, that's what I did. I just used the sanding block. I just started from the middle, and I just worked my way out, sort of like in a circular motion, and feathered it in from the center out. But yeah, it was very disappointing to have thought I'd finished it, and then discovered that there was some stuff there that might show up when I painted. So it was better to get that, you know, try and get it as good as I could. So yeah, I'll continue to work on that front edge of the cornice. So I'm not calling this finished yet, but I will keep going and see how good I can get it. It's going to get to a point where either it's going to turn out really good, or it's, you know, it's going to be much the same as it is now. You know, the average person probably wouldn't pick it, but it's driving me nuts because I know it's there. The hallway. Well, as you know, I had to infill this wall here where there was a doorway, and put 2 new sheets of plasterboard in, and then I had a lot of repairs on this side that I just kept going over and going over and going over. I just couldn't get that outline of that imperfection in the wall to disappear. No matter how many times I filled it and sanded it, I just couldn't get it to go away. But I did get it to a point where I was like 98% happy with it. So what I did is I sealed it. I just used some sealing white that I had sitting in the shed. Just sealed it, left it for a couple of days, let it settle. Couldn't see anything that really stuck out that made me cringe. There's probably more here where the joint is for the 2 sections of plasterboard than there was down here. So but you know, in old plasterboard, I didn't have the nice beveled edges, and you had to sort of raise the center and then feather it back in, and that's just the way it is. But I've even cleaned that up a little bit. There's a lot of imperfections in there, a lot of dimples and bits and pieces, so I've done that. And yeah, so all the plaster work got done and sealed up. Obviously, I painted the ceiling and the manhole cover. Put a couple of handles on there. I'm sort of in two minds whether I like it or not, but I did it more for practicality than I did for aesthetics, because every time you get up in the roof without a handle on it, you put your hand on the board, and no matter how clean you think your hands are never clean, and it's always getting handprints on it. Now I can basically lift this from each end and bring it out through the manhole and hopefully keep the board clean. So I had these kicking around. These were a couple of spares off my other vanity unit from the first bathroom. So at least by fitting them to here, if I ever break a handle in the other bathroom, at least I know where I can get one. So yeah, put up a new smoke alarm for there. So yeah, did that. I haven't cut anything in, and the reason I didn't do that was because the ceiling only got painted yesterday, and I didn't want to put tape along the bottom of the cornice quite yet. I want to give it a couple more days to dry before I do that, because I don't want to be peeling fresh paint off it. So I've just, as you can see, I've just put a coat of this grey paint on the wall, and unfortunately it didn't turn out to be the same grey as in here. This is actually the grey from the other bathroom. Now this one is called Fibre. Now if I look at the wall, obviously with the light above us, if I look at the wall here and I look at the wall there, it's a pretty close match. But if I look at it from this angle, I see more of that, I don't know, more of a greenish brown tinge that suited the tiles in that other bathroom. But this is normally a dark hallway, so that's normally what you see anyway, unless you do put the light on in here. But you put it on for such a short amount of time to walk into either bedroom that you'll never ever notice it. And I only had I think about 2.5 litres of this left. I had none of that, and that is twisted rope. So yeah, there's a slight colour variation. It's very patchy at the moment. I don't know what it is with the greys. When they go on the wall, they just don't roll smooth. You really see all the roller marks and blotches. But I noticed when I did the living room, it was like that until the second coat went on, and then it just completely sealed it. You didn't see any roller marks or any blotches or anything like that. So you know, I've rolled it and then sort of re-rolled it to take any heavy spots of paint off that I might have got a bit heavy-handed on the wall. So so it's pretty flat. Everything's pretty flat. It looks like the repair's gonna be almost, I'll never say perfect, but it looks very acceptable for my skill level of plaster work. So I'm quite happy there. So what I'll do tomorrow, that'll have been 3 days since the cornice was painted. So I will run a strip of tape along the bottom of the cornice all the way around. Sorry for the glare off that light. And then what I'll do is I'll come in with my paintbrush and I'll cut that in all along underneath the cornice. Obviously let that set for, or sit for, I don't know, however long you let it sit for, 2 hours, whatever it is. Then I'll do a second coat on the walls. So a little bit sort of back to front, how you would normally do it. But you know, I could understand cutting, you know, it would be very wrong if you cut in after you've put 3 coats on the wall. But this is the first coat, so it's basically almost, even though the wall's sealed, it's almost working like a sealer anyway. So yeah, it's all right. It's gonna come up good. So yeah, I've only got a couple of days to go, and this should all be finished in here, and all the architraves put back on, and the skirting along the bottom there. And also went round all the timber work, all the door frames, and repainted all of those. So all that got done, all up here got done. That's why you can see this piece of blue tape here and along the bottom. As I said in the last video, I'll tape in and along here so I don't get paint on this freshly painted woodwork. So that's all been painted. There's a couple of little spots I've spotted, which I honestly don't know if it's due to the reflection of the light or whether it's maybe a little spot I missed, but I thought I was pretty thorough when I painted it. But I'm going to go over those spots just to satisfy myself and make sure that everything is painted. So yeah, all this down here all got done. All on the return got done as well, on both sides. Yeah, but I think a lot of it's just in my mind. Like I see spots here, like this to me looks like it's yellowed. You know, like it's the old paint, but I can clearly feel that fresh coat over the top. So it could just be the shadows. Could just be me having been used to seeing that for such a long time. How it was, the colour it was, and I'm just not used to seeing that as clean as and crisp as it is now. So not a lot more to tell, guys. I probably rambled on way too long for what I've showed you, but like I said, I'll keep you up to date every couple of days with some work I've done, and by the time we get the next video out, this all should be finished in here, and I don't know, maybe we'll try and make another little video out of that, little 5-minute one, but yeah. Till then, cheers, and stay safe.